Ja making it too easy for the media to paint a picture of him. Just keep pooping on these fools, Ja. Leave all that other ish alone. And somebody replied, no one is painting a picture, LOL. Do want to be gangsters so bad. And that's what I'm saying. Nobody is painting this false narrative about Ja Morant. He is the one doing it. Oh man, at this point in time, you almost have to respect it. Have you guys ever seen where these rappers, these celebrities, or whoever, these people that attain a certain amount of money, and they say, oh, well, money, it doesn't change me. It's not gonna change me. I've always thought it wasn't just a terrible take, but it was also an idiotic one. If you start to make a lot of money in this life, or you start to become really successful, it should change you. You know why it should change you? Because of this one simple thing. You cannot take everybody to the top with you. You simply can't, and at the same time, I'm gonna give you a great example. Let's say for the sake of this video, I, Matt Be Great, I live in the hood. I've never had anything. Then out of nowhere, I make a couple of hit rap songs, and next thing you know, I got $100 million. Well, if I'm a big time rapper now, I have a lot of notoriety, and everybody knows I got a lot of money, the first thing I'm gonna do is get out of the hood. Money and success should change you to a certain degree. If you're lucky and fortunate enough to get some of this money and get some of the success in life, which a lot of people don't get, you shouldn't be hanging out with the same losers you were hanging out with outside of high school. Let me ask you a question. It's a genuine one. Why do you think all these rich and famous people, they don't live in their hometowns anymore? Because they changed, and it's for the better. Don't let anybody try to convince you otherwise. Sharks swim with sharks, and fishes swim with fishes. And this is some advice to my kids in middle school, high school, or even people in their early 20s. Once you start to separate yourself from the crowd, you're going to come to find out, hey, I like hanging out with like-minded people who want to be successful. There's a reason you don't see poor people hanging out with rich people. There's a reason you don't see high achievers hanging out with losers. There's no correlation. Since we're talking about basketball, y'all know Kobe Bryant, right? Well, one of his famous quotes is, I can't relate to lazy people. He said he doesn't want to, he says he doesn't understand them, and he doesn't want to understand them. I say that to say this, and I wanted to start on this video by getting that point across because I am passionate about this subject. I want you to take a look at this tweet right here. Somebody said, Ja, why do you get on here thugging? You are rich. That's a fair question. I don't see somebody hating. And Ja Morant quote tweets it and says, cause the money won't ever change me. Been on that, still on that, forever on that. Won't ever speak on it. We talked about it a couple of days ago. I'll pop up some of your comments right here. You guys get it. I never did in high school, and I don't understand it till this day why people think it's cool to act gangster or hood or whatever you want to call it. I don't get it because also, like I told you guys in the previous video, I played AAU basketball guys that were about that life. And here's a fun fact for you. The biggest, I guess you want to say, quote unquote, gangsters that I knew growing up, they didn't act gangster. And y'all know exactly what I'm saying. The people that are about that life, they don't speak on it. But the people that want you to believe they're gangster and always talking about how hood and thug they are and how they're this, how they're that, those are the phonies. Like I told you guys in yesterday's video, I'm not trying to be funny when I say this. Ja Morant is a certified cornball. Nobody, and let me repeat this, nobody is scared of Ja Morant because he's rich. Now I know what you're sitting there saying, well Matt, just because he's rich, why shouldn't I be scared of him? And I'll explain. I'm going to give you a great example. Who has more to lose, Ja Morant or some random dude? It's Ja Morant. He's in the NBA making $200 million. That's why I myself am not scared of him. That's why many people out here don't take him serious, because you have everything to lose. And also, to go on top of that, just like Shannon Sharp said, he said something about Ja Morant is quote unquote hustling backwards by acting like someone he's not. That's a great way to put it. I can't say it any better myself. He's hustling backwards. All right. Outside of that, let's get on to what we need to talk about. And I'm sure some of you heard the news, but Ja Morant, yeah, he's already back into the headlines. Look, I wish I could sit up here and say, man, I'm shocked about this, but I'm not. Sorry, I just got done rewatching the video again. So, YouTube has strict guidelines nowadays. I'm sure you've heard about them. So, what's a good way I can say this? Ja Morant was in the club with his boys, which I have no problem with whatsoever. Have fun. I get it. He's a normal person at the end of the day. I don't put any of these athletes or A-list celebrities on a pedestal because I understand they put on their pants the same way as me. They use the toilet the same way as me, but that's besides the point. He goes to the club and he was toting that heater on him. He was with the blicky, whatever you want to call it. And believe it or not, that's not the worst part about it. The worst part about it is, and this should go to tell you that he's not the smartest person in the room, he filmed himself with it, flashing it at the camera. And look, I get it 100%. You got to protect yourself. But why are you filming yourself flexing and then posting it? And here's my biggest deal about this, and it's the reason I call him Captain Cornball. Similar to OnlyFans girls, he needs validation from random people online. Because if he was just filming this video for himself to have a great memory, he would have never posted it. You see what I'm saying? Any of these girls out here on Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, that post these random selfies, or anybody out here like these dudes, they post videos like this, it's for validation from other people. Because if you were really about this life, you wouldn't feel the need to post it on the internet. Believe it or not, out here, it's not just women, but there are some weirdo men who also seek validation. But here's what makes Ja Morant's situation worse, in my humble opinion. Some people in this life, they want the money and the fame. It's not one, it's not either or the other. They want money and fame both. Ja Morant is one of those people. He wants the money and the fame. Vice versa, I'll use another NBA player off the top of my head that is a great comparison for this situation. Kawhi Leonard is a perfect example of a guy who doesn't want the fame and just money. And I'm going to be completely 100% honest with y'all. I can't relate to guys like Ja Morant. I relate more to guys like Kawhi Leonard, because Kawhi Leonard is a normal guy who's just really good at basketball. I've told you guys this before, and I'm going to say it again. 2023 is the best time to be alive, no debate. Why is it the best time? Oh, because in your hand, you can look up any information. You can find out anything and learn about anything on your phone. The knowledge we have at our fingertips in 2023, it's insane if you really think about it. But since we have it all the time, we take it for granted. Back in the 1980s, 1990s, not too long ago, if you wanted to learn how to be a rocket scientist, learn how to do this, do that, you had to go to a library. Nowadays, you can learn anything on Google, YouTube, or wherever. Technology is through the roof, but the one downside of living in 2023 is these internet weirdos. I'm in the industry, and I'm going to tell you straight up, 90% of YouTubers are straight up weirdos in real life. 90% of these Instagram influencers, 98% of these TikTok influencers, they're weirdos. All people do nowadays on social media is put on this fake persona of what they think people are gonna like. People are so scared to speak their truth and be themselves, it's crazy. Whereas me, on the other hand, if you've been following for a long time, you know how Matt is. Y'all know how I am, and that's why I think we got one of the best communities out there, because you guys, just like myself, see through the BS. Getting back on track here with Ja Morant, check out this comment. Ja making it too easy for the media to paint a picture of him. Just keep pooping on these fools, Ja. Leave all that other ish alone. And somebody replied, no one is painting a picture, LOL. Do want to be gangsters so bad. And that's what I'm saying. Nobody is painting this false narrative about Ja Morant. He is the one doing it. And I've seen all the jokes where people are saying, oh, Ja Morant's trying to make it out the NBA and how ESPN's going to make a documentary on him like they did with Aaron Hernandez. But at this point in time, I don't even think they're going to be jokes. I think there's a chance it could happen. You know what this is really starting to remind me of? Have y'all seen the movie 8 Mile with Eminem, where he's rapping and he gets into the final rap battle and he says Clarence lives at home with both of his parents and there's no such thing as halfway crooks? That's Ja Morant. And here's what's even worse about this situation. Check out this comment. Shaking my head. It's lame, bro. You from the same place I'm from and made it out. People look up to this dude. Some young kid gonna take the same pic because he did. Chill, Ja. Those aren't my words. That is coming from somebody who is allegedly from the same city. And he's correct. Kids do look up to Ja Morant, and he's being a terrible role model. And I know what Ja Morant's gonna say. Oh, well, I'm not trying to be no role model. Look, man, at the end of the day, with great power comes great responsibility. You, and when I say you, I'm talking about Ja Morant, have a lot of power, and you could use it for the good, but instead you're using it for the bad. And now guess what? The NBA has came out and said, quote unquote, we are aware of the social media posts involving Ja Morant and we are investigating. I just think it's lame. And last but not least, I'm going to say this. I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, well, people in his circle, his dad, some role models, they need to tell him to quit doing this and quit acting this way. Well, here's the thing. More than likely, people have told him to quit. Y'all got to understand and learn something. You can't want it for somebody else. They gotta want to get better. You can't control how people act. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. This isn't on Ja Morant's dad, his homies, whoever. This is on Ja. And also, I can guarantee you this. His so-called quote-unquote friends that are encouraging this behavior, if they are, they want to see him fail low-key. I'm telling you, because as much as people love a hero, they love seeing a hero fall even more. Let me ask you a question. You think every single person inside of Ja Morant's friend group wants him to continue to be this successful? I don't think so. I believe 9 out of 10 of his friends want to see him prosper, but there's that one bad friend that could ruin it all. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Let me know your thoughts down below, but